Hello guys and welcome to Tracetainment. If you're new to the channel, do not forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss none of the videos that I post. In today's video, former President Donald Trump just got some really good news for his campaign, and I must say this. They can say whatever they want to say about former President Donald Trump, but he has a lot, and when I mean a lot of support behind him. But guys, check this clip out.
Yeah, absolutely, Kristen. One thing we have noticed in the last couple of days, this is not all of the polls that are out there now, but we have seen a number, 4 in the last 4 days, that have shown very small, but in the context of this close race, potentially meaningful movement in Trump's direction. I don't want to overstate it, but at the same time, it's hard to ignore these 4. The CNBC poll came out the other day, has Trump ahead by 2. The Wall Street Journal poll, Trump ahead by 3. These are national numbers. Siena and the New York Times, a tied race. CNN, a tied race. The significance here is broader movement. Again, we're seeing in Trump's direction. To put this in some context, here is our current national polling average. Let me call that up on the screen for you right here. Harris continues to lead nationally. I want to stress that, but we've been tracking this every week on the air here. A couple weeks ago, this number was at 3 for Kamala Harris. Her lead in the poll average now down to 1.2 because of some...
As you guys can see, the race is on. And I'll tell you, former President Donald Trump, he started here, but it's been steadily going like that and that. And as you guys just heard, the national was at 3 and it came down to 1.2. So what does that let people know? The race is on. There's a lot of support from President Donald Trump. There is some support for Vice President Kamala Harris as well. But when I say the momentum for former President Donald Trump is huge, it is huge.
Numbers that I just showed you. Of course, the swing states, the battleground states are going to be what decide this election. And look how close those are. We see 1.2 nationally. Just about all these swing states are even tighter than that. So Trump certainly a little improvement nationally, but where the race is decided, absolutely razor thin. But what is happening nationally? Well, we can show you from the CNBC poll. They picked up on something that our own NBC poll was suggesting recently.
Things are changing. People want different. They don't want to continue what we've been dealing with. They want more security. They want this economy better. That's all that they're asking for. Now in this next clip, former First Lady Melania Trump made her appearance at Madison Square Garden, and she also made a huge announcement. Check this clip out.
All right, there's also this. Former First Lady Melania Trump stunning the massive crowd at Madison Square Garden as she makes her first ever rally appearance to introduce her husband.
Let us charge together with a shared vision that builds on American greatness. Let's seize this moment and create a country for tomorrow, the future that we deserve. Please welcome our next Commander-in-Chief, my husband, President Donald J. Trump.
Tim Murtaugh is the Trump 2024 senior advisor, and he joins me now. Tim, good morning to you. Great to see you. So you're the advisor. Tell us why it was important for you guys to have this rally at MSG in the final stretch of the campaign.
Well, only Donald Trump could pull off something like that. I love the front page. I wish I brought one with me. The front page of the New York Post.
I saw that, yeah.
MAGA Square Garden, really, truly. 20,000 people inside, tens of thousands of people waiting outside. I mean, he blew the roof off the place like the Rolling Stones or something. Yeah. One of probably the most iconic act ever to play Madison Square Garden. And it's a way to kick off the final stretch. The last 8 days, it was fantastic. So much excitement. It truly is a movement. Only Donald Trump could fill Madison Square Garden for a political event.
That was a ton of people there. Like, I mean, I've seen so many pictures and videos, and I have never seen nothing like it. Like, even looking at the people that are on the inside, that is a ton of people to show up for former President Donald Trump. I mean, I know they probably had the time of their lives because there was a lot of people speaking. There was a lot of things said. And like he said, they've never seen nothing like it. That was crazy that former President Donald Trump pulled that off.
It's the movement of MAGA that he kicked off 9 years ago.
He was on with Brian Kilmeade earlier this past week, and he said tickets sold out in 3 hours. That's pretty good for a guy without a guitar. So national polling shows Kamala Harris and Donald Trump tied. New York Times Siena College has them at 48 apiece. Kamala Harris just talked about her internal polling, saying she doesn't really have it herself. She uses her own instincts. Do you guys use your own instincts? What do your internal polls tell you?
Well, Donald Trump has excellent instincts, of course, but we also are driven by data. And we know what our internals show, and it shows that Donald Trump is leading all 7 battleground states. And we know that that is exactly what the Harris campaign sees, too. That's why they didn't answer that question. And what we're setting up here for the final 8 days is what Donald Trump kicked off last night. Really boiled down to it, the last final push, our closing message is Kamala Harris broke it. Donald Trump will fix it. We're talking about fixing the economy, fixing the border, and fixing a world that's gone on fire. People have lived through both administrations. They know that their lives were much, much better when Donald Trump was president. Under Kamala Harris, no other way to say it except she broke it.
Yeah, well,
that is what is important to the people. It's security and the economy. And former President Donald Trump continuously keeps hitting on that because that's what people care about the most. They see all these things happening to innocent people that shouldn't be happening at all. And then the economy, people have been living through it. They don't want to continue with it. Who wants to continue with paying these high prices? Who wants to continue going to the grocery store and have to put things back because you can't afford it? Who wants to continue with paying these crazy prices when you have to fuel your car up? Nobody wants to continue with that. Enough's enough, and the people want change.
Maybe your closing message, but Democrats' closing message is fascism. And if we go back to the rally, a lot of Democrats, including Tim Walz and some folks on MSNBC, they compared to this rally at Madison Square Garden yesterday to a Nazi rally that was held at Madison Square Garden in 1939. Listen to this.
Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. And don't think that he doesn't know for 1 second exactly what they're doing there. So look, we said we're all running like everything's on the line because it is.
That jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. Now, against that backdrop of history, Donald Trump, the man who has threatened to use the military against opponents he calls enemies from within.
I mean, what do you think about that, Tim? Is it smart for any campaign to compare half the country who supports Donald Trump to Nazi sympathizers? And that's what that was.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was. And no, it's ridiculous. Here's Kamala Harris, who Donald Trump is currently beating, which means that she and her campaign are calling more than half of the country a bunch of Nazis. And yet she wants to be president of it? I think they all forget, and Hillary Clinton was on the hit parade there. She talked about it in a similar way. And in 1992, her husband, Bill Clinton, accepted the Democratic nomination in the same building. There was an Israeli flag flying inside Madison Square Garden. President Trump has been recently endorsed by imams in Detroit, and we had a Holocaust survivor as a special guest at the rally last night. And for Tim Walz to come out there and say that is offensive and it's belittling to what actually happened in Europe at the hands of Nazi Germany and the Holocaust that killed 6 million Jews. To make light of that by trying to score political points against your American opponent 3/4 of a century later is horribly offensive. This is a dying campaign. It is a struggling campaign, and they're throwing anything at the wall that can stick, and it is offensive.
I mean, what a point
they should be ashamed.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's crazy what's going on. Like, it's completely crazy. Like, there was a lot of people there. That rally was insane. I have a question. Do you guys think that they would have said the same if the cards were reversed? I feel like they are literally taking cheese, throwing it at the fridge, and just seeing if it'll stick or not. That's what I feel. And there's only a few days left. We need some big change. We need to secure some things, and we need to fix this economy because that's where it's hurting people at the most. And it's just sad to see it happening, you know. These crazy prices and everything that's going on, we need to get back to where it used to be. So guys, you know what we have to do. Let me know what you guys think about today's video in the comment section. That'll be a wrap for today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.